In the bustling commercial city of Aba, where the sound of sewing machines blended with the shouts of traders and the smell of leather filled the air, a young man named Chukwuebuka Okafor arrived with nothing but determination and a small bag of clothes. Chukwuebuka, fondly called Ebuka, was from a humble village in Enugu State. His father had passed on when he was young, leaving his mother to struggle with farming and petty trading to raise him and his siblings. Life had never been easy, but Ebuka carried a quiet fire within him, a desire to change his family's story. At the age of 17, he made a bold decision. Instead of continuing school without direction or resources, he chose to learn a skill. Aba, known across Nigeria for its craftsmanship, especially in shoemaking, became his destination. The beginning of struggle. When Ebuka first arrived in Aba, reality hit him harder than he expected. He became an apprentice under a strict master, Oga Inaji, a well-known shoemaker in Ariaria market. Life as an apprentice was not glamorous. He swept the workshop, fetched water, carried heavy loads, and endured constant corrections. Sometimes, he went to bed hungry. Other times, he slept on the bare floor of the workshop. But Ebuka never complained. Pain is temporary, he would whisper to himself. But success will speak forever. While others grumbled and wasted time, Ebuka observed everything: how to cut leather, how to stitch with precision, how to design modern styles, and how to speak to customers. He stayed late after everyone left, practicing secretly, perfecting his craft. Mockery and rejection. During those early years, Ebuka had little to his name. His clothes were simple, sometimes worn out. Whenever he passed through certain streets, some young ladies in the area would laugh quietly. "Apprentice boy," they would say. "See his slippers, he even makes shoes but can't wear good ones." Among them were girls like Adeze, Chioma, and Amarachi, who believed they were meant for wealthy men, bankers, oil workers, or men abroad. None of them saw Ebuka as someone worth their attention. But Ebuka never allowed their words to distract him. He kept his head down and focused on his journey. The turning point. After 6 years of intense training, Ebuka finally completed his apprenticeship. On his freedom there, Oga Inaji handed him his tools and blessed him. "You are not just a shoemaker," his master said. "You are a creator. Go and make a name." Ebuka started small. He rented a tiny shop in Ariaria market and began producing his own designs. But he didn't want to remain ordinary. He wanted to stand out. He began studying modern trends, combining local craftsmanship with international styles. His shoes were unique, strong, stylish, and affordable. At first, customers were few. But those who bought from him kept coming back, and brought others along. Soon, his name began to spread. Rise to wealth. Within a few years, Ebuka's brand, Ebuka Classic Footwear, became one of the most sought after in Aba. His products were now being supplied to Lagos, Abuja, and even exported abroad. He expanded his business, employed workers, trained apprentices, and opened multiple shops. His lifestyle changed. He bought cars, built a house for his mother, and invested wisely. The same streets that once mocked him now spoke his name with respect. The return of the interested ladies. As success surrounded Ebuka, something interesting began to happen. The same young women who once ignored him suddenly became friendly. Adeze started greeting him warmly whenever she saw him. Chioma would find reasons to visit his shop. Amarachi even sent messages through friends, hoping to reconnect. "Ebuka, you've really changed," they would say with smiles. "We didn't know you would go this far." But Ebuka saw clearly. He remembered the days of rejection, the days when no one believed in him. He treated them with respect, but his heart remained distant. "I am not angry," he once told a friend, "but I have learned to value sincerity." The woman who stood apart. Amid all the attention, there was one woman who was different, Nkemdilim. Nkemdilim was not among the flashy or overly confident ladies. She was calm, respectful, and well-trained in character. She worked as a teacher and came from a modest background. What made her stand out was her simplicity and honesty. She had known Ebuka from his struggling days, not closely, but she never mocked him. Sometimes, she would simply greet him kindly, without judgment. One day, she visited his shop, not to impress him, but to buy a pair of shoes for her younger brother. Their conversation was simple but meaningful. For the first time in a long while, Ebuka felt peace talking to someone. Over time, their friendship grew naturally. Nkemdilim never chased his wealth, and Ebuka admired her for that. A different choice. While others tried to win him with appearance and charm, Nkemdilim won him with character. When Ebuka decided it was time to settle down, many expected him to choose one of the high-class ladies who now surrounded him. But he surprised everyone. He chose Nkemdilim. Some people whispered, "Why her? She's not among the rich girls. She's too simple for a man like Ebuka." But Ebuka didn't care. "I am not looking for noise," he said calmly. "I am looking for peace. A marriage built on value." Their wedding was beautiful but meaningful, not just a display of wealth, but a celebration of true love and growth. Ebuka never forgot where he came from, and Nkemdilim supported him with wisdom and humility. Together, they built not just a family, but a legacy. The lesson: Ebuka's story spread far beyond Aba. Young people began to see that success was not about quick wealth, but about patience, skill, and discipline. And for those who once looked down on him, his life became a silent message. Never underestimate a man who is still building. Because one day, he may rise beyond imagination, and by then, it may be too late to stand beside him.